Hi guys, Piotr here, this is LiteFinance Global YouTube channel. It's my pleasure to be with you again. December, the very tricky month, the last month of the year. Very tricky from the trading perspective, of course. But anyway, we are going to try to find the best trading setups when it comes to the SP 500 and NASDAQ. So without further ado, let's jump straight into the video. Alright folks, we are going to start with SP 500 monthly chart. As you can see, I already have some trading lines over here. So I'm going to tell you the levels and explain you why. So overall, we have to start with this consolidation phase, and it's between the top is around 3,520 and the bottom is around 3,250. All right, and as you can see, after the monster rally lately, market finally hit that top of that demand zone and we've seen strong rally. But strong rally is approaching right now 4,315 zone, and we are testing the bottom of that supply zone. So in that case, from the monthly chart perspective, that's what we have when it comes to the buying and selling. So if you are a bull or bear, from the monthly chart perspective, that's your levels. Let's switch lower, let's switch to the weekly chart, and here we have a few lines as well. So the perfect thing is this consolidation zone, all right, as well as this latest weakness. So they are both, when it comes to this weekly zone 50% and this latest weakness, they are both in the mid zone from the monthly chart we discussed a second ago. We haven't hit haven't hit that one, and I do expect that we are going to see levels close to 3,400, 3,350. So if you are a seller, if you are a bear, so the current move, if you are going to see some kind of the failure on the weekly chart, that could be your setup with the target with new lower low. That's gonna be perfectly fine, this new lower low, because if we are going to hit that quite quickly, all right, we are going to have this 1, 2, 3 bottom and possible rally from here. So for the sellers, we are approaching supply, watch for the failure. For the buyers, that's your possible setup based on what we discuss on that particular zones. Let's switch to the daily chart. And well, as you can see, we've seen when we were trying to hit this top of the monthly zone, we've seen on the daily chart strong lower shadow, just stop hunt, and from that we went higher. But we quite haven't hit this 3,600 level to make it over under, right? So in case on the strong move to the downside from the lower time perspective, that's where you have to be very, very careful as a seller, as well as this daily demand zone over here. This swing high as a supply, this swing high as a supply. In that case, we are talking about the levels close to 4,140 based also on the monthly chart, and based on the weekly 4,204 as well. All right, so that could be your near-term, medium-term range to try to trade. Any kind of the close, especially weekly close, above this swing high right over here, we are talking about the level of 4,315, is going to make the market bullish. The close below this swing low, it will turn even more bearish for this possible trading setup we discussed based on the weekly. So that's how the S&P looks like, and to be honest with you, we are going to switch to NASDAQ, and from that perspective, it's worth to mention that S&P looks better than the setup on the NASDAQ. We are going to discuss in a second. So I would, in that case, I would think if I'm going to go long stocks, maybe S&P. If I'm going to go short stocks, maybe NASDAQ. But that's what you have to do on your own. It's your own research. As usual, it's your own homework and trading decision. Don't forget that it's very important that market is thinking about the Fed starting to pivoting. That's going to be very interesting what's going to be the market takeaway, because the pivot gonna probably means that economy is not doing well. Anyway, from the monthly chart perspective, why I think NASDAQ is a little bit weaker, because the same consolidation we've seen on the S&P, where we hit the top of that consolidation, in that case we hit first the bottom, we've seen the rally, but another move to the downside hit all the stops. So looks like we are done for now here. We've seen stronger attempt to move higher, but still we are staying under the very strong supply on the monthly chart, around 12,950, 13,000. Taking that into the consideration from the monthly chart perspective, I see 9,200 and then again 7,700 as a possible downside levels like this. Of course, if the market is going to close above 13,000, especially above 13,600, these upper shadows, the next target is going to be around 15,200 based on this monthly chart. Let's switch lower. Let's switch to the weekly chart. Here the things are looks very similar, and from the weekly chart perspective, we have this latest weakness. As well, as you can see, in the middle, we've got this monthly line. So something between 9,600, 8,950 might be the final target for the NASDAQ. Because as you can see, as of now, we are always making lower lows. All right, so if we are going to see the rally towards 12,600 based on the weekly chart and maybe 13,000 based on the monthly chart, this is the supply zone with the possible new low as discussed a second ago. And finally, the daily chart here, we might see, based on this stop count similar to the S&P, we might see a little bit higher rally, and here we have also swing high on a daily. So we have three possible supply lines based on the monthly, based on the daily, based on the weekly chart. All right, so that's the name of the game. Well, bulls may want to try to keep that consolidation. Let me make it different. All right, if that's the case, so this low, the monthly line as well, they are almost 50% of that consolidation. So that might be the first attempt from the bull's perspective to try to go long. Guys, as usual, it was my pleasure to be with you to make this update. Do your own homework, do your own research, make plenty of tests before risking real money. Take care, stay safe, see you around, and goodbye.